Good morning, everybody. And Matthew and I are going to return to our topic of challenging situations. And this one a question came in about okay, the person I'm supporting and caring for needs to have a procedure done. And let's say it's a dental procedure. And the dental procedure involves a root canal, a crown, pulling a tooth, having a filling. It's a procedure for which they're going to have to tolerate, if not at least discomfort, possibly anesthesia, possibly a lot of people up close and around, and they have to stay still. And they may be alert and aware, or it may be one where they have to be sedated to a point where they're under, and then they come back. So it's tricky because someone can typically be more in a diamond, sort of rigid and flexible, but as long as you can work through the idea of what's going to happen, and they get to a place of, okay, I've got permission, it is going to happen, it can happen, then they can hold that for the duration because they stay where they are. It's just like I can't hold on to sometimes, oh, that's today. I didn't know it was today. I thought it was next week. But that's a very different situation than what we're talking about when someone's in an emerald state, where they're starting to lose touch with exactly the current situation versus previous situations, where they're losing connection between the actual place and time that they're in and other places and times they've been in, or who somebody is to them in that moment versus who they're looking for in that particular situation because of past experiences, but they're episodes. So it's not like I remember my life historically. It's like I remember an episode, but the problem is, I think it's now. I mean, I'm getting a little, and not everybody does this, but it is a very common one. Or I get stuck in the loop that it's already happened or it hasn't happened, but it has. Because I'm not only having trouble with recent sort of things, I'm having trouble holding on to the four elements of orientation in time, place, situation, and person. So somewhere in there, I'm starting to struggle with all four of those concepts. So one of our mistakes is bringing up procedures too far in advance because we're used to the idea that if we prepare somebody, then they're going to be ready for it. And if we review it and if we put it on the calendar and we approach the calendar and we, whatever way it is, there are planners, so we do it that way, or we say, oh, they got an opening, and so we're going to go do it. Oh, okay, well, yeah, in the diamond state, and we miss that someone is no longer in a diamond state regarding this procedure and regarding where they are. And it could be morning to afternoon, which is the trickiest, or it could be over time. We've just shifted.
Well, and
That makes
Teepa, if you think about it too, how often in procedures do we get reminders from the place? We get phone calls, we get text messages, we get
So you have
emails.
other stakeholders involved here.
Uh,
So this is like all of a sudden now you're having to step back and think bigger, because in the preparation, you need to prepare the stakeholders for who they should identify as the recipient of information and how you cue them up so that you might be the only recipient of that information. And then you channel that information to the human being and the person that you care about and you're supporting, because when they get it the other way, they're constantly surprised that there's a procedure, and it sets them off with, who arranged this? I don't even know who this person is. What do they? I don't go to that dentist. I have my own dentist. So now we're starting to struggle with holding on to, and then when that starts happening, my ability to hold on to anything more starts to drop dramatically because my amygdala turns on and it makes it really hard, and I'm in distress before we know it. So when you're doing procedural sort of preparation for your pipes, you want to think, okay, is there potential for this to become an emerald state? Or are we in an emerald state? In which case, I really do need to pause and go, okay, so I need to know a lot about what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, what the rules are, how this goes. I need to ask some questions. Can I stay with the person? Is it possible we could create a space that I can be present? I can offer support in a voice that they might recognize. Can we set it up so that, oh, John, hey, now I don't know whether we said anything on your last appointment or not. Oh, you don't, oh, I am so sorry. I thought that we had had an appointment together before. So not, oh, well, that changes things. I got your records and I've looked at all your records. Now, what does that mean I've really done in addition to notifying the provider that my person is having some issues? What might we have had to do ahead of time, Matthew?
Yeah, done a lot of prep work. So getting a lot of information, more details, pieces that would be really helpful to know that we might not typically get or be sharing in between all of these stakeholders.
Yeah, so suddenly I'm involving the provider, the stakeholder in this process. Now, they may or may not be open to that. If they aren't, then I have a heavier lift. If they are, then we can sort of work together to make this a doable procedure. Because if the person has to be sedated, then we work on, okay, now I do have to help you be calm during this. And one of the ways we do that is I give you a shot in your jaw. So I'm going to ask you to hold your partner's hand and really squeeze tight. And when you do that, I want y'all to remember hand under hand, not let them hold squeeze your hand because, oh my heavens. But you want to secure them to you and coach them through it. Okay, now we're going to breathe. And you may use a block. In dental work, they might actually insert a block that props the jaw open so the person can't close down in panic, because you want to make sure that's going to stay in place. And there are all these things that we can now call up because we recognize, wow, I have somebody who is going from emerald and in these situations can actually switch to an in the moment amber sensory thing because it's intense and then drop back to emerald and then maybe even go to diamond again. But the procedure itself can be somewhat overwhelming because I feel out of control. And if I'm also out of connection, it could be pretty significant. So the preparation has to happen for me, for possibly providers who might be involved. And then we figure out what's the preparation and timing and place where we provide what is needed, truly needed for the person who is living with dementia to actively participate in the way that is the least distressful. I didn't say no stress, but the least distressful with the best support. And it will vary. But the most important thing is using your pipes and your 5 Ps and having a team, a place to talk about it, to rehearse, to practice, to talk it through. So I hope that answers the question globally. But if you have more details, you really have a situation of your very own, it may require a little more conversation because it's not prescriptive, it's a way of looking at things. All right. Till next time, take care with your care, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye, everybody.